into it, so it's nice.
Okay, just so I don't forget.
Oh, you're back into doing sculpture, Eileen?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
yeah, I'm happy about it. In fact, actually, I just came back from New York and I bought some stone while I was there and had it delivered. So
Cool.
yeah, so hopefully we'll have another piece of work to show at some point.
Mhm.
If I ever get if I ever get it really going. But yeah, it's been good. Pico did a nice thing and I have a compressor and everything now, so.
How nice.
Mhm. Wonderful. Okay, let's see. I think it's gonna work.
Yay.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'll be right back.
Good, okay.
So this is a piece I did along with the other piece that's that Joan's going to show. I did them both
Give me a
together.
peek. There's this one and then we'll talk about this one first.
Okay, yeah, I did them together. I just wanted to do different palettes. And I actually experimented with unstretched canvas. And I have to say, I really, really liked it. I like it a lot.
Tell me what that is.
So,
What do you mean
well, you
unstretched?
know, just a roll of canvas, and I cut pieces off. And it's not on stretcher bars. It's just, you know, rolls that I cut,
Mhm.
you know, however big or small I want the pieces to be, which is really nice.
And then eventually you'll tack it onto a frame of some.
Yes, I have to figure out how to do that. I was hoping you'd help me, Joan, when I get back.
We'll see. Well, this is another one of my favorites. What can I tell you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I was looking at it long and hard. There's so many things. I love the way you broke up the black with the little hint, the little. Today I'm tongue-tied. I'm not used to doing
It's
this. I like
graffito.
I like the way you did positive and negative shapes with the black and white, whereas the black is in the background 1 minute and then it's in the foreground. And I like the way you broke this up. You just have all these great touches. What can I say?
Thank you.
You-
Thanks. I used oil pastels. I don't usually use them, but the green is, you know, the green at the top and the lines, which you can't really see that well, is they're oil pastels. So
I like
I
that
enjoy
color in the
doing
middle. It sucks me into it. Yeah.
the reddish orangey.
Yeah. The whole central piece there, slightly off center.
Thank you.
And also somewhat muted. They're not really raw, pure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Well, I was watching a video and this artist was saying to make things look cohesive, add every color on your palette into the paints that you're using. Then it kind of dulls them down and it doesn't make them look so in your face. So I thought that was a good tip.
How do you do that?
Well, so you have red, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you put green and turquoise, just teeny little bits in. Green, turquoise,
Into the
black
red.
and white if you want.
Into the red.
Into the red,
Oh,
exactly. Into the red. Then you don't have it cadmium red. You know what I mean?
yes.
That's a great idea. But if
And
you
it kind of unifies it.
But if
Yeah.
if you put too much, it defeats the purpose. Like if you're going to do red, if you put half and half red and green, you're going to get brown. So you're just saying just to put
Right. A
Okay.
teeny bit.
Okay. Great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that way back, but I didn't do that. I sort of used the glaze of every color over every other color so that it
Good
had
idea.
a similar kind of an effect.
Mhm.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. 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 I think this is one of the strong points is that for example, all these white squiggly lines, sometimes they're in the foreground, sometimes they're in the background. So there's a nice play,
Yeah.
spatial relationship.
It's a fun picture,
Thanks, guys.
painting.
Now this one here, to me, it looks sideways. So
Yeah, you know, I haven't decided which way I should put it.
that's why I put this little guy here when I swung it over to see to get an idea from people what they like.
I like the
Well,
one
the
on the
other way
right.
You like this one?
Really?
No?
I like the small one.
Yeah.
Ah,
I like a
Okay.
bigger one.
Well, what
Reason
do
why I
you,
like it,
well,
the reason why I like it is because the darkness is on the bottom. It kind of like grounds the paint, the paint.
mhm. Well, the other way I liked it was with, the top part where the black leaves are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with that on the right side. I
Yeah.
liked it that way too. So I don't know.
I
I'm not
agree.
sure that it's even resolved.
Well, that leaf at the top there makes me. You say it's called a hint of winter. I picture the wind coming in and blowing all that stuff. That's why it's
Oh.
down and a little angles, and that one's particularly
That one
blown over
makes
by the wind.
Oh, sorry.
what, Jerry?
The one on the big one makes me, it leaves me wondering. I think maybe I like that a little
Yeah,
bit.
I do. I agree.
There you
Ah.
go. You get how many artists in the room? Half of them.
Right.
I like the one on the right. So
No. What's the name of that? What's the name of that hurricane that just went through Florida?
Ian,
Yeah, Ian.
Okay, that's what this one reminds me of. And
The view of Ian through the window.
well, okay, I'm on the half that likes the little one because this big one makes me want to, it keeps making my head turn this way. It kind of drags my head that way. So that's
Oh,
my,
interesting.
I like that yellow dot also pointing to the left.
Ah, thank you. These were fun to do because I put tons of collage, then paint, then more
Yeah,
collage,
looks
and
at-
it was fun to do.
there's a lot more movement in this one than in this one.
Mhm.
I love
Yes,
this one.
Yeah.
It's nice and calm. It sits
yes.
free to look at. This one here kind of drags my head.
Well, I mean, isn't that the whole, I read or I heard from somebody that things on a diagonal is more dynamic, whereas things, that are more squarish
Yep.
are more calm, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I
I must,
agree.
I must
Like
like
that.
calm. Who knows? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. It's always interesting.
Thank you.
Thanks. And now we come to our main sculptor.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a tall one, 36 inches.
yeah, it's actually I had to look. I guessed at that, and it's actually 37 inches. I looked it up just before the meeting, but yeah, this is one actually I did a while ago, several years ago, and it really got a lot of oohs and ahs, and it really didn't seem to move. And that's when both pieces were the same wood, and it didn't have the ball on it. And so I've been going back to some of my older pieces that I felt that needed something, and so I taped off everything except the little centerpiece and sprayed it that nice flat black, and then added the ball to it, and voila, we got a new one. And so this was accepted into a show at Art on the 30th.
Nice.
Now it kind of looks like
Congrats.
a person.
I'm sorry, what, Jerry?
Yes.
It kind of looks like a person now.
Correct. Yeah, that's great. That's terrific. Yeah. So
I think that's going to be your signature now, Scott, the ball.
you
And I
got
like
it.
it. I like that.
and the
You're
color.
right. Yeah. And Pico and Lee know that the ball now has become like my deal. So I've got to kind of put a ball in everything. So
His signature.
Cool.
Bola, bola.
yeah.
It kind of draws everything together. It kind of is, it pulls things together, it just
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
like a period.
Yeah, it really helped that negative space at the top. It just
Yeah.
really added to it. Yeah. And that's one of the bigger balls that I have in my collection. I've got all different sizes now because somebody said you need to have it. So now I've got like a big selection, and I'm trying to also paint some of them ahead of time so that I can just take it and mount it and it's done. So that's been a lot of time.
Now,
So,
what kind of wood is on the base, and why is that color? I could envision it being black, but you chose kind of a mahogany color for the base.
the base I think is Hadouk. I think it turns into like a maroon color after a while. It's more reddish when you first
Mm.
coat it with a clear coat of polyurethane resin that I use. And so, yeah. So, yeah, the base might have looked better black, but it's like I'm not going to go back. I mean, when you're done, you're done. You know, when you get to a certain point, you go, okay, I've spent enough time on this. I'm ready to move on.
I know.
But you came back several years later and put the black in the ball.
I did, yeah. And I've got a couple other pieces that I'm looking to add to. One of them, I'm going to be painting a portion of it this black as well. So I'm going to tape it all
Yeah,
off.
because you did a series of that kind of style. I've got your business card stuck up right in front of me here, and it's that same concept, but it used two different woods there. But I do remember when this one was without the ball and the same wood, and this really does look nice. It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, hang on to that business card because that'll be a collector's item. Because I've gone to a new business card.
I'm afraid it's got a hole in where I pinned it up, but other than that, it's fine.
I've gotten to a new business card now, which is a whole different story. I went to my stepson and who's a designer, and I said, okay, I've never liked my business cards. I always leave something out. Would you design a business card for me? Which he did, and he put a QR code on the back of it. So
wow,
you hold the card up to
That's
your
cool.
phone with your QR reader, and it'll go directly to my website, and then
Nice.
you
Oh,
see all
nice.
the
Very
work.
good.
QR codes at the little thing.
Mhm.
Very high tech.
You have another picture to show, Joan?
No, I
This
don't.
is the one I'm just working on right now.
That's a big spoon.
It's a big piece, and it's sycamore. I believe it's sycamore, and the wood is just extremely hard. I mean, really hard. So I wanted to carve out the center, which you see in the right picture. And so there's two ways to do it. One is just use this grinder that I have that does a real good job at doing it. But I decided, since it was such hard wood, and I didn't want to create a really total mess for my neighbor next door on the other side of the fence. So I decided that I would drill holes in it first with a stop on the drill bit so that it would only go so far. So that's what I did. So that's what the one on the left is. It ended up being like, I don't know, 300 holes I had to drill.
Excuse me, you drilled these holes?
Yeah, these are all drilled holes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, you know, everybody, Scott sent me these two at different times, and he sent me this first one several days before the second one. And I fell in love with this. I was going to buy it because, well, maybe the photo is it doesn't show exactly, but these dots really drew me, and they reminded me of something African, you know, like spotted animals.
I agree, Joan. They're fascinating.
It's a fabulous photograph, but I wondered about the same. I thought that you had just marked it out, but now I can see the drills,
all the little
holes. Yeah, I like to do that when I have to go in, but I've never used a stop. I've just guessed. It doesn't always come out the way I like.
Well, you know, what was wrong, Scott, after you drilled the holes, what was wrong with filling them with black and sanding over them so that it would have that spotted texture? I mean, I fell in, this is a masterpiece. Excuse me.
That's good.
Oops.
Well, I think that I had the plan. That my plan has always been to hollow out the center, and you can see in the left picture that it's not real thick. And actually, I was thinking, and it's going to be mounted on the bottom or on the side, so that it stands up rather than it lays down on that flat part. So I was always going for this design, and I was going to mount it sitting straight up, and then I post all this stuff on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram, you'll see both of these pictures on there.
Big is it?
Yeah, pardon me?
How big is it?
30. Oh, I don't. It's probably about 37 inches, 36 inches from center to the tip. And
I like the angle on the right on the number 2.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to actually mount some I was thinking about it earlier. Some rods going into the side of, you can't see me pointing at my picture, can you? Into the sides, going at the angle towards the top,
Yeah.
probably hollowing out, going all the way through the piece, somewhere in the in that circle that's been hollowed out, and then I'm going to probably stain or burn the inside of the circle, and then the outside I'll keep. It'll be a blonde. It's a blondish wood, so I'll keep it blonde with the non-yellowing polyurethane, but keeping the inside darker. And then
nice. Yeah.
and it should have some nice, and it's got some nice grain in it. And then I'll probably mount either a block or a ball somewhere on it.
Nice.
Well, thanks,
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks, Scott. I
Thank
think
you.
now I'm watching the clock just a little bit.
Go, yeah.
Jerry,
Oh, this, I finally completed that, and I gave it to my therapist, who's been seeing me actually at no cost since the insurance stuff. And I brought it to the restaurant. We were having lunch, and I said, "To my guiding light and friend," and it went very nicely.
Good.
And so that was a very nice day. Did you ever have a really good day? That was a really good day.
okay, now, Jerry, the question I have is that this angel, she's going to put it in her garden. And I remember it being quite a tall, was it 5 or 6 feet tall or something like that?
No, it's about 3 feet tall.
Well, in any event, when you sent me these two pictures, the scale isn't right, because I'm sure that these butterflies are not 3 feet tall. Aren't they smaller?
No, I went closer to the box to take the picture.
Okay,
I zoomed in on the box.
okay.
But the left does get taller on the bottom. On the left, you can see there's a little thing on the bottom that sticks into the bottom of the angel, and it goes into the ground. It's a landscaping thing.
This, yeah.
So the butterflies are basically the card that you gave it to her.
You gave her this card.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it's kind of a box, but yeah.
I
And
know.
then the lantern is solar, so it lights up at night.
And then
Yeah.
the solar light hangs on something up
Yeah,
here.
she holds it.
Okay,
At the top, yeah.
beautiful, very nice. I'm glad you got that project over and delivered.
Now I have one more at these 2 windows next to my door. I'm finally going to get to it, but I think I'm going to do it abstract art. They're 40.
Joy sent 2 pieces.
Wow.
This one,
Oh,
she did these in
Wow.
class.
Beautiful.
I'll let her
Amazing.
talk about it. Go ahead, Joy.
Oh, me? No,
Joy.
oh, sorry.
Wow.
This is from France Marie's drawing class. And I had my first class, drawing class in 2018 at the France Marie's class. France Marie, she didn't teach too much technique, basically, but she prefers expressionist and that artist work, but I couldn't get it because I didn't have a basic skill. So this is why I learned from YouTube and try to learn.
Wow.
But France Marie helped a lot about my portion and shading, and yes.
It's wonderful.
beautiful.
But
Wow.
thank you. And the class, the Zoom, since the Zoom class, Mary Costa College hired many professional models in our class. So this is
Very nice.
I did a work at the class and after class, and I just refine some the work.
Did you use colored pencils, Joy?
This one is compact. I don't know how to say that. This is not
Conde.
pastel. This is not charcoal.
Like, is it Conte?
Oh,
Oh, content, yes.
Content.
This is a content, yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
It's wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Very good. I like all the lighting and everything. It's great.
Everything's
Right.
right.
Beautiful.
You
Mhm.
feel like you met her.
Dynamic.
I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of volume to it.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you know, your friend Shirley wins first place awards all the time with her pastel work. And you got the same skills that she does. This is magnificent.
Yeah.
Yes, Sherry helped me too. And I also asked her how can I do the how can I find the problem, and she pointed the problem and told me how to do.
I knew I saw something about Shirley in this.
Yes.
You know, once in my lifetime, I tried using something. You see, you use kind of a tan color or a tan color paper. The paper was this peachy color.
Lovely.
Yes, this is actually yeah. This
I remember.
paper.
I remember enjoying playing with, because you're starting with a middle color, then you have to add the darker ones, and then you have to put the highlights in. So you already have the middle color set out, and you're working with the background and the foreground colors. It's very fascinating to bring out all this, like, for example, you probably put a little white on the lips. I mean, to bring them out, or I see there's a little highlight here.
Yeah.
Your shoulder.
Mm.
Yeah. It's really great. And I like the feathery quality of this veil. It's very, very well done, Joy.
Thank you.
Beautiful,
Excellent.
Joy.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm. And this one, I think you might have been impressed with his physique, the muscles on him, because it looks a lot more masculine, your technique.
Yes, this is Uni is a very professional model, and he has a lot of muscles, and I focus on the muscles. I didn't finish it, and just like
Great.
it.
Joy.
I don't think I'd want to make them mad.
This
Make
one.
him mad.
Oh, yeah.
But
Joy,
it's-
did you use gray paper for that, or is that
This is just white because
white? Okay.
yeah, my room light is pretty
Oh, hard to paint.
dark.
Yeah,
Sure.
it depends on the time of day.
Mhm.
Paint.
Is that charcoal or is that pastel?
It's charcoal.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can see I'm still struggling with the pores, and you can see the correction on the foot.
Mhm. Well, the only thing that I saw was that his butt seems kind of flat.
Yeah, me too. I saw that.
Kind of square.
That's right.
Aside from that, it's beautiful. Great
His
work.
butt is kind of square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this group.
Let's talk about men's butts. Eh?
Yeah. No, let's not.
His ass.
Okay. All right. I'm going to quickly show you, revisit something you've seen before, because I never showed you this picture here. This is the girl at the museum, which
Yeah.
I'll be entering it in next month in Cole Gallery, the show. But I never did show you this photo. It was the first one I took of her when she didn't know I was taking it. And the big bag was sitting there. Her face is in dark, and she's not even aware of me, really. But when after I took the picture and looked at it, I'm thinking this bag has got to go. So then I spoke to her. She noticed me, and I said, "Do you mind pulling the bag out of the way?" And so she kind of pulled it aside, and her fingers are sticking up, and then she's looking at me, and she actually did pose for this, as shy as she was. And then so I told you last time that what I did was fade these people out in the background and try to bring her out. And so the next picture will show you the finished product, which is what.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that looks nice. Very nice.
Boy, that fading the background just is incredible.
Yeah.
And the brightness on her face. Lovely, Joan.
Yeah, the highlights, nice, very nice.
Well, you know, I went and used it as the wallpaper on my Chromebook. And I swear, every time I flip the lid and the Chromebook opens up, I see this girl, and I haven't fallen out of love with her yet. She just has that something that just draws me. I just can't explain it. So that's one
She's a
one
cutie.
wallpaper. I haven't gotten tired of this wallpaper.
It's really nice.
Cute little thing.
Very
Right.
nice. Did you
Yeah.
fade the bag as well, Joan? Because the
Yeah, I was
bag looks
wondering
like
that
it's
too.
faded.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I explained months ago when I showed this is that I had to cut her out first. And then what I did was I used the software and work. I had to fade, lower the contrast and fade the background out first without affecting her.
Wow.
So that's why I had to take her out so I could work on the background. Then I pasted her back in.
Ah,
Wow.
I also did cut out her face and treated that with the lighting and the color separately than her whole body. So, and then
Fabulous.
I took her fingers out because you notice that up here, her fingers are all sticking out at the top, and it didn't look so good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So,
Wow.
but anyway, this is,
Amazing how they can do that.
Yeah.
Great.
and then let's see what I have next. Oh, I took a bus tour to Idlewild a few weeks ago. And this young man, he's in a group called Young Art of ID. And real quickly, his name is James Bachman, and I have brain cancer, specifically grade 4
Oh.
medulloblastoma with 20% probability to live a full life. But we all know that's a lie. I've been fighting this disease for over 7 years. It's been a continuous battle, but I will never give up. As part of my fight at age 12, I started to teach myself artistic techniques and expressions, and so my artistic journey. And up here he says, my art is a representation of my past and my present emotions: hate, anger, joy, fear, hope. Some of my art has more than one of these emotions, like life itself. And this is what he
Wow.
looks like now. And I'll probably send him a link to this so he could know we talked about him. And I appreciate especially that he took the time to go into his studio and bring me a business card so that I have his email address.
Yeah.
Very nice young man. And I like his expressionist work. There's this one and that one.
I love that black and white one.
Yeah.
You love that one? Yeah,
The black and white,
it's
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Great work.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Wow.
really, it's inspiring that somebody could do all that.
yeah. He's a very nice young man. Thanks, James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, Idlewild has a dog for a mayor. And it's the first thing they tell you all about it, Mayor Max. And I think Mayor Max is sick. So they've got 2 of them in training, interim mayor right here. And I did meet a San Diego artist up there. Her name is Michelle Linden Shaw. And I took a picture of her works there and some other Idlewild art. And I'll probably send a link to Michelle too, and apologize because when I arrived at Idlewild, the art show was not what I expected. It wasn't an art walk as we know it. It was all spread out along a mountain road going uphill. And you actually I needed a car. They had a shuttle that took you all the way to the top. And when I met Michelle, I was kind of flustered because it wasn't, the layout was not the venue wasn't what I expected. And the artwork was interspersed between a whole mountain road of restaurants, and it wasn't obvious where the artwork was. And so, and I was starving, so I didn't have time to tell Michelle what I thought of her work. I admire that girl in the museum. And here I've been in Idlewild. I don't have anything to show for it really. So I saw this woman sitting here on the side of the road, and notice all the cars. It's a very ugly picture, isn't it? We're in the middle of town. And this is in progress because I'm working on it. I believe she's homeless. She's totally confused. And as I approached her, she started telling me, and the next picture I think will show that I removed the cars. Did you notice?
Oh my.
I took the cars out, and the first thing I did was try to change the background. And I've been since then working on the ambiance and everything else, but I'm not going to show that till next month. It's coming along really nicely. But
Her face looks different, Joan. Is that a different photo?
Yeah, she wasn't looking at me, but as I approached, but she did look like quite a character. As I approached her, she rants and raves. All I hear about is she's going to kill her husband because he stole her dog. And she rants, she repeats herself over and over and over. I'm calling it confused right now.
She has some grace in her hands, so you wonder about her life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wondered what she did before,
Yeah, well, I saw after this picture was taken, I saw her wandering around the whole village, just trying to participate in other people's conversations, but she's not a well woman. I think she might have dementia because she couldn't keep a thought. She'd go from one thing to another, but I liked it. Appeals to me, as a human emotion piece. So we'll see what happens. You'll see it next month. How's that? And now let's see, we're almost out of time, and Cindy couldn't be here. Her dog had a vet appointment today, but she will talk about this next month, hopefully. And I thought it was one of the most beautiful oils I've ever seen her do. And I did a close-up of the details of this cactus thing here.
That's wonderful.
The brushwork is really fabulous, and I hope she'll talk to us about it.
Very nice.
And the only last thing is that Nancy is on vacation this month, well, today anyway, and she will be here next month, and we'll see her stuff. Okay, so I think that's it, everyone, and I think
Who did that?
we did okay.
Professional, so that was very interesting, and the big thing is that word is that the Oceanside libraries, we're going to have shows in the two libraries in November and December, and the date to deliver to the main library will be November the 4th. You should look for an email from Faya and she'll give you the details. And we're going to the main library first, and then that'll be switched over to the mission library afterwards. So those two highlights from the meeting. We had 19 folks on Wednesday. It was a very good, very fun meeting. It's been pretty constant around 13.
Okay. Well, thank you for the report, Barry. Always good to have your side.
And if Pico's got some nice ceramic sculptures in the Fallbrook Library.
Fallbrook, okay.
Yeah, it's an invitational Latino art exhibit.
Okay.
And my ceramics will not go on tour, but the rest of the art exhibit, the paintings will go on the tour to different parts of the United States.
The ceramics show very beautifully on black